Good evening. Today we are going to start revision. The first topic will be limits. Before we start solving sums, let us revise the topic. Let us list all standard limits. When we say x tends to 2, I'm taking particular example. By that we mean x is not equal to 2, and if x is not equal to 2, x minus 2 will not be equal to 0. So division by x minus 2 is allowed. In other words, we say that 2 is not the value of x, 2 is the limiting value of x, right? So limit x tends to 2 of x is nothing but 2. Now when we evaluate standard limit, we try to evaluate the limit in the very first step. For example, if it is limit x tends to 1, x plus 1 upon x minus 2. In this case, we are asked to find the number to which this particular function approaches as x approaches 1. Means what? If x assumes values which are nearer and nearer to 1, x plus 1 upon x minus 2 will approach which number? That is nothing but the limiting value. So we should think of taking limit in the very first step. In 99% of the cases, it is not possible, but we should try. Means what? Take limit in the first step, that is replace every x by its limiting value which is 1. So 1 plus 1 upon 1 minus 2, that is 2 upon minus 1. Is it defined? Yes. So minus 2. See, the problem occurs when denominator vanishes, that is denominator is 0. Here it is not 0. So we are in a position to take the limit. Is that clear? But in most of the cases, as I said, we won't be able to evaluate limit in the first step. I will consider one simple example. Limit x tends to 2, x square minus 4 upon x minus 2. Means we are asked to find the number to which this function approaches as x approaches to. That is, we are interested in knowing the number to which this approaches as x assumes values which are nearer and nearer to 2. Can we take limit in the first step? To take limit means to replace every x by its limiting value. Okay, so which in this case is 0 by 0. Please remember, 0 by 0 is an indeterminate form. Division by 0 is not defined. I hope you won't say 0 by 0 is 1. That is not silly mistake. That is more than Himalayan blunder, right? So what should be done? After this, I will observe that as denominator and numerator both are 0 as x tends to 2, or at x equal to 2 rather, x minus 2 must be the factor of both numerator and denominator. So x minus 2, x plus 2, denominator as it is x minus 2. Now can I cancel x minus 2? Yes, I can. Why? Because x only tends to 2, x is not equal to 2. In exam you are supposed to write this reason also. So division by x minus 2 is valid, allowed, defined. So limit x tends to 2 of x plus 2. Now can we take the limit? Yes, we can. To take the limit means to replace every x by its limiting value, which is 2. So 2 plus 2, which is nothing but 4. Is that clear? So 4 is nothing but value of the limit. Now we list all standard formulae. The first one is limit x tends to a, x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a is what? It is n into a raised to n minus 1. Initially we proved the result for n belonging to natural number set, but result is seen to be true for n belonging to R, set of real numbers. After that, an important trigonometric limit, limit x tends to 0, sin x upon x equal to 1. I hope you will not argue that put x equal to 0, sin 0, 0, 0 by 0, that is 1. No. This means that if angle is in radian, actually in calculus, you have to remember two things. Number one, angle must be in radian only. Secondly, base of logarithm must be e. If it is not e, you have to change the base to e. Similarly, if you want to evaluate limit and trigonometric limit rather, and if angle is in degree, don't say limit doesn't exist, convert that angle in degree to radian. You should know that 180 degrees make pi radian. Okay, use this formula. So angle is in radian, angle tends to 0, and angle in the numerator is fully repeated in the denominator. Then only the value of this limit is 1. Now from this we can say that what is limit extends to 0 tan x upon x? Basically tan x is what? Sin x into 1 upon cos x. Is it correct? Now tan x upon x. So sin x upon x into 1 upon cos x. I am omitting one step. Now this is standard trigo limit, its value is 1. Here put x equal to 0, cos 0 is 1. So 1 into 1, that is 1. Okay. So limit extends to 0. Tan x upon x is also 1. See, if you want, you can write these notes. I will not give separate time for this. Now from this you may say limit extends to 0, cos x upon x is also 1. No, this limit doesn't exist. What is the general form? The general form is limit extends to 0 sin kx upon kx is 1, where k is non-zero real number. See, all the conditions are satisfied. Angle is in radian, angle tends to 0, and angle in the numerator is fully repeated in the denominator. That is why value of the limit is nothing but 1. Similarly, I will not write that. Limit extends to 0. Tan kx upon kx is also 1. Uh, Actually, one student is asking it should be k. No. If I say sin kx upon x, then the value of limit is k. I have repeated I'm considering this only. We are not solving a problem on limit. I have mentioned general result. Limit extends to 0, sin kx upon kx. It is 1. If you say sin kx upon x, then yes, value of the limit is k. This is correct. Then limit extends to 0, a raised to x minus 1 upon x is log a. See, when I say log a, base of logarithm is e. In calculus, it is customary not to mention the base of logarithm if it is e. Don't say this is baseless logarithm. What is a? A is greater than 0, not equal to 1. Okay. In this case also, we can generalize the result. A raised to kx minus 1 upon kx is, don't say k log a, it is log a only. So what are the observations here? Here index tends to 0 and index is fully repeated in the denominator. Now, can I replace a by e? Yes, because what is e? E is an irrational number. Its value lies between 2 and 3. And you know that e is used as base of logarithm in calculus. Okay. So what will be that result? It will be limit extends to 0, e raised to x minus 1 upon x equal to log e. But what is log e? Log e is nothing but 1. I hope that this is clear to you. Okay. Similarly, e raised to mx minus 1 upon mx, which is nothing but 1. After this, an important result, limit extends to 0, 1 plus x raised to 1 upon x equal to e. Generalized result, limit extends to 0, 1 plus mx raised to 1 upon mx is nothing but e. How to remember this? Something is added to 1, something is added to 1, same thing tends to 0. Index is reciprocal of the term added to 1. So in that case, what is the value of limit? It is nothing but e. Is that clear? Now, actually this limit is not mentioned in the syllabus, but if I say put x equal to 1 upon y, as x tends to 0, y will tend to what? Y will tend to infinity, because x is 1 upon y, means y is 1 upon x. So as x tends to 0, y tends to 1 upon 0, that is y tends to infinity. So the same result becomes limit y tends to infinity, 1 plus 1 upon y raised to y is also e. You can remember this as standard result also. Last but not the least, I have actually used the word infinity, but when I say infinity, you should know these things about infinity. Infinity is something which is greater than everything, or we should say every real number. Infinity itself is not a real number and therefore cannot be shown by a point on the number line. So this is about infinity. When I say infinity, by that I mean plus infinity. This is minus infinity. It is something which is less than every real number. Think of a very, very small real number. It has to be negative. A number which is still less than that can be considered as minus infinity. But of course, we say that x equal to say 1 crore. Similarly, we should not say x equal to infinity, because infinity is not a real number. So regarding infinity, one important result, limit x tends to infinity, k upon x raised to p is always 0, where k is non-zero real number, and remember p has to be greater than 0. See, you have to use common sense. If denominator is too big, then value of the limit is almost 0. See, what is 1 upon 1? 1 upon 1 is 1. What is 1 upon 10? It is 0.1. See, we have considered denominator just as 10. Still answer is 0.1. What is 1 upon 100? It is 0.01. What is 1 upon 1000? 1 upon 1000 is 0.001. So if denominator increases, then this value of the fraction decreases. So when I say 1 upon 1 crores of zeros after that, this is almost 0. Is that clear? So this is about all standard formulae. Now we will start solving sums. Actually, I will not be writing detailed solution, but I repeat that in college exam, you are supposed to write detailed solution. As we are doing revision, we have to cover as many sums as possible. So I am omitting few steps. First one, limit x tends to 0, 1 minus x raised to 8 minus 1 upon 1 minus x square minus 1. Can we take limit in the first step? No, we get 0 by 0 form. Use substitution, 1 minus x equal to y. When we use substitution, we are changing the variable. So we must obtain tending value of new variable. As x tends to 0, y will tend to what? 1 minus 0, that is 1. So this is limit y tends to 1, y raised to 8 minus 1 upon y square minus 1. Now you may say, can we factorize numerator and denominator? You can, but why to waste time in that? Because shortcut method is available. Divide numerator and denominator by y minus 1. Then use which result? Limit y tends to a, y raised to n minus a raised to n upon y minus a is n a raised to n minus 1. So here it is 8 into tending value is 1. 1 raised to 8 minus 1 upon 2 into 1 raised to 2 minus 1. So what is the value of the limit? It is nothing but 4. Now this is an important sum. Limit x tends to 1, x plus x square plus x cube dot 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 up to x raised to n minus n upon x minus 1. Can we take limit in the first step? No, we get 0 by 0 form. You can verify this in the numerator, 1 plus 1 square plus 1 cube up to 1 raised to n. If you add 1 n times, you get n minus n 0, 0 by 0 form. Okay. Now I replace this n by what? 1 plus 1 plus 1. How many times? N times. But there is minus sign before that. So x minus 1 plus x square minus 1 plus x cube minus 1 up to x raised to n minus 1. Denominator as it is. Now split numerator. After this, what should be done? Standard formula. Now I will not mention that, but I'll tell you the formula. Standard limit rather. Limit x tends to a, x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a is what? N, that is index, into a raised to. Limiting value is 1. 1 raised to is always 1. So value of the first limit is 1. That of the second is 2. Actually, instead of writing n here, I should have written 2. I'll make that change. Okay. Now this is correct. So 1 plus 2 plus, I haven't written here, but 3 up to what? Up to n. Note that this is sum of the first n natural numbers, which is nothing but n into n plus 1 upon 2. So this is the value of the limit. Limit extends to 3, 1 upon x minus 3 minus 9x upon x cube minus 27. See, first you have to bring the function in which form? F of x upon g of x. We can call this as a rational function. Now, how do we subtract one from the other? By finding LCM of denominators. What are the factors of a cube minus b cube? See, all these basics are required. So these are the factors. This is LCM. What is numerator? I have omitted few steps. Numerator comes out to be x square minus 6x plus 9, which is x minus 3 into x minus 3. Cancel only one x minus 3. Some students cancel x minus 3 with these two. That is absurd. So limit x tends to 3, x minus 3 upon x square plus 3x plus 9. Take the limit. Now denominator should not be 0. Numerator can be 0. 0 upon any non-zero number is defined. It is equal to 0. So 0 is the value of the limit. Fourth one, limit extends to 2, x cube minus 7x plus 6 upon x cube minus 7x square plus 16x minus 12. Again 0 by 0 form. But as numerator and denominator are cubic polynomials, we have to find other factor by performing synthetic division. See, polynomial is 0 at x equal to 2. So x minus 2 must be the factor. So we write 2 here. Write this polynomial in coefficient form. Do not say 1 minus 7, 6 because x cube plus 0x square. So it should be 1, 0 minus 7, 6. This 1 as it is. 2 into 1, that is 2. Addition of 0 and 2 is 2. 2 into 2, 4. Addition of minus 7 and 4 is minus 3. Minus 3 into 2 is minus 6, that is 0. This is the check, because when you say x minus 2 is a factor, it should divide this with 0 remainder, right? So this is about numerator. What about denominator? Write the, or before that, what are the factors then? X minus 2, x square plus 2x minus 3. Synthetic division for denominator, which is the other factor, x square minus 5x plus 6. But note that this can be factorized as x minus 2, x minus 3. So this is the denominator. Now limit x tends to 2, x minus 2, x square plus 2x minus 3 upon x minus 2 into x minus 2 into x minus 3. Only one x minus 2 gets cancelled to get this. Now limit of numerator is nothing but 5. Okay. What about limit of denominator? 0. So the final answer or conclusion is this limit does not exist. Next one, limit x tends to 0, 3 upon x root 9 minus x minus 1 upon x. I haven't written all the steps. Find LCM, which is x into root 9 minus x. What will be numerator? 3 minus root of 9 minus x. Now this is the case where you should realize that you have to rationalize numerator. So multiply numerator and denominator by 3 plus root 9 minus x. So numerator becomes 9 minus in bracket 9 minus x. So if you open the bracket, 9 minus 9 plus x. So x upon x into root 9 minus x into this. We can cancel x because x only tends to 0, not equal to 0. Now take the limit. To take the limit means to replace every x by its limiting value, which is 0. So 1 upon root 9 minus 0 into 3 plus root 9 minus 0. So 1 upon 3 into in bracket 3 plus 3, that is 6. So 1 upon 18 is the final answer. Limit x tends to 0, sine x degree upon x. Now don't say value of the limit is 1 because angle must be in radian. So first job is to convert this degree measure to radian. Now 180 degrees equal to pi radian. So x degree is equal to how many radian? Pi x by 180. One more condition is angle must be fully repeated in the denominator. So first we write what we want. We want that denominator should be pi x upon 180. But we can't just multiply denominator by pi by 180. We have to multiply numerator also by pi by 180. So now what is limit of constant into function? It is that constant pi by 180 into limit of this. Now this is standard limit, its value is 1. So pi by 180. I've seen many students writing this as 1. Why? Because they say pi is 180. How can pi be 180? See, 1 rupee means 100 paise. So will you say 1 is 100? No. Pi is, we take it as 22 by 7 or 3.14, right? So pi by 180 is the answer. If you want to convert this, you can say that let pi be 3.14. So 3.14 by 180, but not 1. Seventh one, limit x tends to 0, cos ax minus cos bx upon cos mx minus cos nx. Clearly standard trigonometry is to be used, but for that we should have sine function. So apply cos a minus cos b formula. Cos a minus cos b minus 2 sine of a plus b by 2 into sine of a minus b by 2. Before that I have written which standard result is used. Limit x tends to 0, sine kx upon, usually we say that angle must be fully repeated, but here I have written sine kx upon x. So value of the limit will not be 1, it will be k. If I say limit x tends to 0, sine kx upon kx, yes, it is 1, but I have written x, so it is k. Okay. So sin a minus, rather cos a minus cos b is applied. Now within bracket, consider this angle, take x common. So a plus b by 2 into x. Here also same thing. Now next step, let me explain first. Divide numerator and denominator by x square. So upon x here. Same here also. Now use standard limit. So what is the value of limit in the numerator? I will say it is a plus b upon 2. Here it is a minus b upon 2. What about denominator? M plus n upon 2, and here m minus n upon 2. So if you simplify this, you get a square minus b square upon m square minus n square. This is the final answer. Sum number 8, limit x tends to 1, 1 minus x square upon sine pi x. Actually, 1 minus x square can be written as 1 plus x into 1 minus x. We can take limit of this part because when x tends to 1, 1 plus x will tend to 1 plus 1, that is 2. Now in the second limit, put x equal to 1 plus y or 1 plus h. I have put x equal to 1 plus y. As x tends to 1, y will tend to 0. So this is 2 into limit y tends to 0. What is 1 minus x? If x is 1 plus y, 1 minus x is minus y upon sine of pi into 1 plus y. Now this angle is actually sine of which angle? Pi plus pi y. Sine of pi plus theta is nothing but minus sine theta. Simplify. So it is limit, rather 2 times limit y tends to 0 minus y upon sine of pi plus pi y, which is minus sine of pi y. Okay. Now minus minus plus, angle actually limit x tends to 0, sin x upon x is 1. So limit x tends to 0, x upon sin x will also be 1. Or you can say divide numerator and denominator by y. Here it is sin pi y. So though numerator is y, I have written pi y. That is, I have multiplied numerator by pi. So I have to multiply denominator also by pi. So 2 upon pi into this limit. Value of this limit is 1. So 2 upon pi is the final answer. Ninth one, limit extend to 0, 15 raised to x minus 5 raised to x minus 3 raised to x plus 1 upon x sin x. See, standard trigonometry is to be used that requires sin x upon x, but denominator is x sin x. To get sin x upon x, we have to divide denominator and therefore numerator by x square. This means numerator is to be expressed not as a sum or difference, but as product of two exponential functions. Many students say that subtract 1, add 1, that won't help here. So 15 is what? I have omitted few steps. 15 is 5 into 3. So 15 raised to x is 5 raised to x into 3 raised to x. In short, you have to factorize numerator. These are the factors: 5 raised to x minus 1, 3 raised to x minus 1. Now next step is divide numerator and denominator by x square. It is allowed because x only tends to 0, not equal to 0, right? So what remains is this. Now standard limits. In the numerator, we standard limit x tends to 0, a raised to x minus 1 upon x is log a. So this is nothing but log 5 into log 3 upon 1. I hope you won't say this is log 15. No, log m plus log n is log mn. Log m into log n cannot be simplified. It is just log 5 into log 3. This is the final answer. Limit x tends to 0, 7 plus 4x upon 7 minus x raised to 1 upon x. Now within bracket, take 7 common from numerator and denominator and cancel it to get this. Now a upon b raised to m is a raised to m upon b raised to m. Limit x tends to 0, 1 plus 4x by 7, something is added to 1, same thing tends to 0. So required index, I'm not saying original, required index is reciprocal of this. So 7 by 4x is required to get original raised to 4 by 7. See, a raised to m raised to n, a raised to mn. Yes, I have written the same and I have to. So what about denominator? This is required to get original raised to minus 1 by 7. Now this is standard limit. See, in college exam, you are supposed to say that as x tends to 0, both of these tend to 0 and so on. So limit x tends to 0, 1 plus x raised to 1 upon x is e. So e raised to 4 by 7 upon e raised to minus 1 by 7. So e raised to 5 by 7 is the answer. Next one, limit x tends to infinity, 2x plus 1 raised to 30 into 5x minus 7 raised to 20 upon 2x minus 3 raised to 50. So divide numerator and denominator by x raised to 50. In the numerator, you have to split it as x raised to 30, x raised to 20. Now use laws of indices. So I can directly say that this is basically 2x plus 1 upon x in bracket raised to 30. So if you split numerator, then 2 plus 1 upon x raised to 30. Here it is 5 minus 7 upon x raised to 20, and in the denominator it is 2 minus 3 upon x raised to 50. Now use standard limit. So what is that? Limit x tends to infinity, k non-zero real number upon x raised to p equal to 0, p has to be greater than 0. So I will directly write 2 plus 0 raised to 30, 5 minus 0 raised to 20 divided by 2 minus 0 raised to 50. Use laws of indices again. So this is 5 upon 2 raised to 20. This is the final answer. Actually, there are many more sums, but we have covered, I think, 10 sums. I have given at least 100 sums for homework. I hope you have solved at least 50% of them. If not, try to solve as many sums as possible. Of course, from college exam point of view, the sums which are given in the textbook are important. One more thing, solved examples are also important, which are given in the textbook. So that's it for today. In the next lecture, we will revise the topic continuity.